Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is the 22nd August 2025. In this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Even before that, please note we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. If this is your first visit to our channel, you can access all the training lessons at our NeoStock YouTube channel. So to access the training lessons at our channel homepage, click on the tab Posts. Some of you might be seeing Community tab. In that case, click on the tab. In both the cases, you get the same post, and this post is having a YouTube playlist link that is having all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into supply demand zone price action course. Here you have all the training lessons are available. To access the first lesson, scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here, starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one, but according to my training instructions. You can find all my training instructions at our Telegram channel. I am providing the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. So please join at our Telegram channel. In the old messages or previous messages or even in the pinned messages, you can find the training instructions. If you can learn the course according to those training instructions, then it will be helpful to you to become a very good independent trader. So make use of this opportunity. Okay, now I am generating different supply demand zone reports with the help of NeoStock Software Supply Demand Zone Top-Down Analysis Strategy Builder. Okay, first starting with the daily time frame and then 75 minutes time frame, I will find the stocks near demand and supply zones. From those reports, I will identify the high liquidity zones. Those high liquidity zones you can use for high liquidity zone strategy that you learned in lesson 21.3 video. Okay, starting with the daily time frame, stocks near to the daily demand zone, we got 21 stocks. So let us identify high liquidity daily demand zones from this list. NIFTY metal, this is a low priority high liquidity. For we have to use a high priority high liquidity zones for HLQ zone strategy. That will be helping us to get 80% success rate. The Bank of Baroda. Bank of Baroda is having a daily high liquidity demand zone. The next one is Bharat Forge is having a daily high liquidity demand zone. The next one, ITC, is not valid because it is a pierced zone. You may use this zone for the pierced zone strategy that you learned in lesson 28, but you can't use it for high liquidity zone strategy. So ignoring this stock, scrolling the list down. Next one is Tata Chemical. So we have identified 3 daily high liquidity demand zones from this list. Total 3 daily high liquidity demand zones we identified. Okay, next for daily time frame, stocks near to the daily supply zone, we got 5 stocks. Let us identify daily high liquidity supply zones. Cholamandalam Finance is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. We got only 1 stock. Okay, next time frame is 75 minutes. Stocks near to the 75 minutes demand zone, we got 11 stocks. Let us identify 75 minutes high liquidity demand zones from this list. Alchem is having a 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. That's it. We got only one 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone from this list. Okay, next for 75 minutes time frame, stocks near to the 75 minutes supply zone, we got 5 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity 75 minute supply zones from this list. Godrej Consumer Properties is having a 175 minutes high liquidity supply zone. That's it. We got only one 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone from this list. So this is about high liquidity zone identification from stocks near daily demand and supply zones, and also 75 minutes demand and supply zones. So next reports are about NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain generation for different time frames. Okay, starting with NIFTY, monthly time frame, generating monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Okay, this is NIFTY monthly supply demand zone chain report. In any supply demand zone chain report, always look into the zone column to find the high liquidity zones, and look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones. Also look into the LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. You already land one time frame higher is ITF and one more time frame higher is HTF. Those trends also you can find. And also don't forget to pause the video when you are moving from one report to another report, because I am giving you very few seconds time to watch the reports. So remember all the rules for all the supply demand zone chain reports. Okay, next, generating weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating daily supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. The nearest demand zone to the current closing price is serial number 32. So I'll put it in the middle of the page. Okay. This is 5 minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. So we have completed NIFTY supply demand zone chain generation. Next, I will generate a BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. I'm going back, changing the name to NIFTY Bank. That is nothing but BANKNIFTY. Generating monthly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, generating weekly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, generating daily supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, generating 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. The nearest demand zone to the current closing price is serial number 21. I will adjust in the middle of the page. Okay. So this is about a Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. We have completed both Nifty and Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain reports. Okay, next I will generate sideways bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly, daily and hourly income trades. Starting with the monthly income trade, sideways long trade setup. Entry time frame is daily, entry zone is demand zone. Bullish or bearish or sideways trade setup parameter. At entry time frame daily, I am selecting sideways long. Zone achievement is violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score should be 11 for sideways, 12 for bullish or bearish. Because it is sideways, I have selected 11. And also third filter, pierced zones, I am not filtering for daily time frame, because any pierced zones in daily time frame, you can apply pierced zone strategies that you learned in lesson 28. The other income trades, I will add the third filter. So with these filters, we got 3 stocks supporting sideways long trade setup for monthly income trade, and entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. So this is a pierced zone. You can't apply this sideways trade setup, but you can use it for pierced zone strategy if applicable. Okay, next sideways short trade setup for monthly income trade. The changes are daily supply zone. Here sideways short. Let's filter. We don't have any sideways short trade setup supported stocks. Okay, next for bullish trade setup for monthly income trade, entry time frame daily demand zone. Here bullish, and also minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. Let's filter. We got a big list. So 21 stocks we got. So first 17 stocks in the list supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade, and all the entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. Pierced zones you can't use for bullish trade setup, but you can use them for pierced zone strategies that you learned in lesson 28. So first 17 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 21 stocks are filtered. Among these 21 daily demand zones, there could be some high probability trade setup demand zones might be available. So we need to identify. How to identify? Based on different zone confluence and EMA confluence strategies that we learned in lesson 27. Okay, first let us apply daily and weekly demand zone confluence and then weekly EMA confluence strategy. That is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence and ITF EMA confluence you learned in lesson 27. So I am applying on the 21 stocks, going back in the demand zone confluence parameter. Here we have that parameter. Here I am selecting LTF and ITF demand zone confluence, LTF daily, ITF weekly. demand zone confluence, filter is enabled. And applying the filter on the 21 stocks, after applying the filter, the list is come down to 15 stocks. In all these 15 stocks, the daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zones. That means daily demand zone is part of the weekly demand zone. Because daily is part of weekly, now let us further filter based on weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence to find the high probability trade setup supported zones. But a weekly trend should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. See, always bullish trade setup, that is ITF trend, is always uptrend, that is weekly trend. So we can filter with EMA. EMA confluence at weekly time frame because daily is overlapped with weekly. So we are checking a weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence or not. Weekly trend is up in all the stocks. So we can filter further. Now the list is come down to 9 stocks. In all these 9 daily demand zones, there could be more high probability to get success, provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, zone might be violated. There are higher chances zones might be violated if less than 20 the checklist items what you land if they fail. That's why always you should focus on less than 20 checklist items. Okay. This is based on daily and weekly demand zone confluence and weekly EMA confluence. Always you can look into the search strategy, how you are filtering the stocks. And entry time frame always you can find here in all the reports. Okay, next we will look into the next strategy, LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence and thereafter HTF EMA confluence. All the 3 zones we are using now. So I am going back, removing ITF EMA filter. Now first we have to filter based on all the 3 time frame demand zone confluence, daily, weekly, monthly demand zone confluence. So we have to set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, daily and weekly demand zone confluence. Next, daily and monthly demand zone confluence, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence. By setting all the 3 filters, daily, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence, we got 4 stocks. In all the 4 stocks, the daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone and both together again overlapped with monthly demand zone. Okay. So now let's further filter based on monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence, but trend should be uptrend. One stock is having sideways, we should eliminate this stock. So for that I am going back in the EMA confluence at monthly time frame. I am checking monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence, filter is enabled. At the same time, sideways trend at monthly should be eliminated. So that's why in the trend at monthly time frame, I am selecting uptrend but not sideways. Uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So let's filter. We got 1 stock. That way this daily demand zone might be having more high probability to get success. Provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, zone might be violated. Already it gave 8 tests. Is it going to work further? That is all depending on less than 20 checklist items. If you apply on this zone, if they satisfy, you can plan the trade. Otherwise, there could be higher chances of zone violation. So this is bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for monthly income trade, entry time frame, daily, entry zone, supply zone, here bullish or bearish. At the daily time frame, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. Now let's filter. We got 2 stocks. Monthly income trade, bearish trade setup. Entry time frame zones are daily supply zones. Out of these two daily supply zones, any high probability trade setup supported daily supply zone is available or not, we need to verify. That we can filter based on different supply zone confluence and then EMA confluence filters that you learned in lesson 27. So first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence, that is daily supply zone and weekly supply zone confluence supported stocks out of these two. So I am going back. In the supply zone confluence parameter, I am enabling the filter daily supply zone and weekly supply zone confluence. I enable the filter. Applying on the two stocks, both the stocks are filtered. See, supply zone confluence both weekly and daily is enabled. That means in both these stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. And also weekly trend, that is ITF trend, is a downtrend in both the stocks. So you can further filter based on weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. So let me apply that filter. In the EMA confluence at weekly time frame, I am checking weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence or not. So let us filter. So none of the stocks are having weekly EMA confluence. So this is about bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, let us generate weekly income trade reports. For weekly income trade, sideways long trade setup, entry time frame is 75 minutes. Entry zone is demand zone. Bullish or bearish or sideways trade setup parameter at entry time frame 75 minutes. I am selecting sideways long, and zone achievement should always be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and hands score should always be 11 for sideways or 12 for bullish or bearish. Because it is sideways, I am selecting 11. Now I am adding third filter also. That is 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. For that you have to go to pierced zone, pierced count parameter. In this parameter at entry time frame is 75 minutes. Here I am selecting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. And this filter is applied on the 75 minutes demand zone. So now let's filter. We got 5 stocks supporting sideways long trade setup for weekly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. So total we got 5 stocks. Okay. Next, sideways short trade setup for weekly income trade. The changes are 75 minutes supply zone and also sideways short. Let's filter. We got 2 stocks. Entry time frame zones are 75 minutes supply zone. Okay, next, bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. The changes are 75 minutes demand zone as an entry zone, and here bullish, and also minimum odd and hands score should be 12. Now let's filter. We got 11 stocks supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. So total we got 11 stocks. Out of these 11 75 minutes demand zones, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we can identify based on different zone confluence and EMA confluence strategies that we learned in lesson 27. The first strategy is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence, and thereafter ITF EMA confluence we can filter. So first LTF and ITF demand zone confluence stocks we will identify from these 11 stocks. So for that I am going back, adding one more filter, that is demand zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. LTF is 75 minutes and ITF is daily. Demand zone confluence filter I enabled. And applying on the 11 stocks, we got 8 stocks. In all these 8 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with daily demand zones. That is what demand zone confluence. That means 75 minutes demand zone is overlapped with daily demand zone. And also, daily trend is uptrend in all the stocks. ITF is daily. Because daily is uptrend, 75 is overlapped with daily, so we can further filter based on daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. So I'm going back, adding one more filter, that is a daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. Because daily trend is uptrend, only in up or downtrends only EMA you have to use. You should not use sideways. Because it is bullish trade setup, always a daily trend is uptrend, ITF trend is uptrend. Let's filter. We got 5 stocks. And these 5 75 minutes demand zones are having more high probability to get success. Provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, these 75 minute zones might be violated. That is very, very important. Okay. Okay, next strategy is LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence, and then after that HTF EMA confluence. Using these filters, let us identify the stocks. So I am going back. In this screen, I am disabling the EMA filter because it is ITF specific. No EMA now. Now first let us focus only on the demand zone confluence with LTF, ITF, HTF. So LTF and ITF demand zone confluence is already enabled, that is 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence. Next, 75 minutes and weekly demand zone confluence, and also daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. By enabling all the 3 filters, we did not get any stocks. So that means there are no stocks supporting with 75 minutes daily and weekly demand zone confluence. Okay, fine. This is about the bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Bullish, next bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. Here bullish or bearish at 75 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score is 12. And also 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter, at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means zone is not pierced. That is 75 minute supply zone. Let's filter. We got 4 stocks supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame zones are 75 minute supply zones. So total 4 stocks we got. Out of these 4, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on different zone confluence and EMA confluence strategies. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. I enabled the filter. By applying the filter, we got 4 stocks. In all these 4 stocks, the 75 minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone. And also daily trend, that is ITF trend, is downtrend in all the stocks. So let us further filter based on daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. I am going back. EMA confluence at daily, I am checking daily supply zone with daily EMA confluence. Out of 4, we got 3 stocks. So these 3 75-minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success, provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, zones might be violated. Okay, next let us look into LTF, ITF and even HTF. Supply zone confluence and then HTF EMA confluence stocks. Let us filter. So I am going back, removing ITF EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters I have to set. First filter is already enabled, 75 and daily supply zone confluence. Next 75 minutes and weekly supply zone confluence, and daily supply zone and weekly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters enabled, we got 3 stocks. In all the 3 stocks, these 75-minute supply zones are overlapped with the daily supply zone. Both together again overlapped with the weekly supply zone. But weekly trend is down in only 2 stocks. So in this 2 stocks, any weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence, then that 75 minutes overlapped inside weekly might be having more high probability to get success. So let's verify. EMA confluence at weekly time frame, I am checking weekly supply zone with weekly EMA confluence. At the same time, trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It should be downtrend, because it is bearish trade setup. Let's filter. So one stock is filtered. That way, this 75-minute supply zone might be having more high probability to get success. Provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, there are higher chances of zone violation. So this is about bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. So we have completed weekly income trade reports. Next, we will generate daily income trade reports. Daily income trade, sideways long trade setup, entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone is demand zone. In bullish or bearish or sideways, at 15 minutes entry time frame, I am selecting sideways long. And zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score should be 11 for sideways, and also 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter, at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0 and maximum value 0, so that 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. Let's filter. We got 8 stocks supporting sideways long trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. So total we got 8 stocks. Okay, next, sideways short trade setup. The changes are 15 minutes supply zone. And also here I am selecting sideways short. Let's filter. We got 3 stocks. Sideways short trade setup for daily income trade. The entry time frame zones are 15 minutes supply zones. Okay, next let us filter bullish trade setup for daily income trade. So here the changes are 15 minutes demand zone, here bullish, and also minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. Let's filter. We got 6 stocks supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. So total we got 6 stocks. Out of these 6 15 minutes demand zones, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on different zone confluence and EMA confluence strategies that you learned in lesson 27. So the first one is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence, and thereafter ITF EMA confluence. So I'm going back, adding a new filter, demand zone confluence. Here LTF and ITF is 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. By enabling the filter, we got 4 stocks. In all these 4 stocks, the 15 minutes demand zone is overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. All these demand zones. And also 75 minutes trend is uptrend in all the stocks, so that we can further filter this list based on 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence. So I'm adding one more filter, that is 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence. By setting the filter, we got 3 stocks. So that way these 3 15 minutes demand zones might be having more high probability to get success, provided lesson 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, there are higher chances of zone violation in these demand zones. Okay, next strategy is LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence, and then thereafter HTF EMA confluence. So I am going back, removing this EMA filter because it is ITF specific. Now our focus is on HTF also. So in the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Next 15 minutes and daily demand zone confluence. 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence, all the 3 filters are enabled. Now we got only one stock. This 15 minutes demand zone is overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. Both together again overlapped with the daily demand zone. And daily trend is uptrend. Let us further filter based on daily demand zone having daily EMA or not. Let us verify. The EMA confluence at daily, I am checking daily demand zone with daily EMA. So it is filtered. So that way this 75 minutes, this 15 minutes demand zone, because entry time frame 15 minutes. This 15 minutes demand zone might be having more high probability to get success, provided lesson 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, there are higher chances of zone violation. So this is about bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone is a supply zone. In bullish or bearish, at 15 minutes time frame, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score is 12. And also 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, at 15 minutes time frame, minimum value should be 0, maximum value should be 0. By setting all the filters, we got 7 stocks. All these 7 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15 minutes supply zones. So total we got 7 15 minute supply zones. Out of these 7 15 minute supply zone, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on different zone confluence and EMA confluence strategies that we learned in lesson 27. So the first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. So I am enabling that filter. By enabling the filter, now all 7 are filtered. That means in all the 7 stocks, all these 15 minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. Okay, 75 minutes trend is a downtrend in all the stocks. So let's further filter based on 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. 75 minute supply zone with daily EMA we are applying on the 7 stocks. We got only one stock. That way this 15 minute supply zone might be having more high probability to get success, provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, zone might be violated. Okay, next strategy is LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence and then HTF EMA confluence. So I'm going back, removing ITF EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters I am setting. First filter is already enabled. Next 15 minutes and daily, 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence with all the 3 filters. We got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, all these 15 minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone, both together again overlapped with daily supply zone. And daily trend is down, only 2 stocks out of 3. So those 2 stocks, let us verify if any daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. So I'm adding this filter at daily time frame, daily supply zone with daily EMA, but at the same time trend on the daily should not be sideways. It should be only downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. So let's filter. So both these stocks are filtered. That means both these 15 minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success, provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, higher chances of zone violation. So this is a bearish trade setup for a daily income trade. So we have completed daily income trade reports. So next, hourly income trade reports let us generate. For hourly income trade, entry time frame is 5 minutes. Entry zone is demand zone for sideways long trade setup. And also bullish or bearish or sideways trade setups at entry time frame 5 minutes. I am selecting sideways long. Zone achievement is violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and enhanced score should be 11 for sideways. And also 5 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So for that, in the pierced count parameter at 5 minutes time frame, I am checking minimum value with 0 and maximum value 0. That means 5 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So we got 4 stocks: sideways, long trade setup for hourly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 5 minutes demand zones. Total we got 4 stocks. Okay, next sideways short trade setup for hourly income trade. The changes are 5 minute supply zone and here sideways short. Let's filter. We got 1 stock. Sideways short trade setup for hourly income trade and entry time frame zone is 5 minute supply zone. Okay, next bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. 5 minutes entry time frame zone is 5 minutes demand zone. Here bullish and also minimum odd enhanced score should be 12. Let's filter. We got 10 stocks supporting bullish trade setup for hourly income trade and entry time frame zones are 5 minutes demand zones. So total we got 10 stocks. Out of these 10, how many might be having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on different zone confluence and EMA confluence strategies. First filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 5 minutes and 15 minutes demand zone confluence. So I am enabling this filter. By applying the filter, we got 8 stocks. In all the 8 stocks, the 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. So all these 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zones. in all the stocks. And also 15 minutes trend, that is ITF trend is uptrend. So let's further filter if any 15 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence. Let's verify. So one stock is filtered. Probably that way, this 5 minutes demand zone might be having more high probability to get success, provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, zone might be violated. Okay, next let us look into LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence, and thereafter HTF EMA confluence. So I am going back, removing ITF EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Next 5 minutes and 75 minutes. 15 minutes and 75 minutes. Demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got only one stock. So this 5 minutes demand zone overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. Both together overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend is uptrend. If 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA, then this 5 minutes demand zone might be having more high probability to get success. Let's verify. EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame. I'm checking 75 minutes demand zone with daily EMA confluence. So that is not having EMA. So we don't have any high probability trade setup, 5 minutes demand zones in this strategy. And next let us look into bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone, supply zone. Here bullish or bearish at 5 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and enhanced score should be 12. And also 5 minutes supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at 5 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. So with these filters, we got 10 stocks. All these 10 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. And entry time frame zones are 5 minute supply zones. So total we got 10 5 minute supply zones. Out of these 10 5 minute supply zone, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on different supply zone confluence and EMA confluence strategies that you learned in lesson 27. So the first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence, and then ITF EMA confluence. So I am going back. LTF and ITF is nothing but 5 minutes and 15 minutes supply zone confluence. So I am enabling this filter and applying on the 10 stocks. We got 6 stocks. In all the 6 stocks, these 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. All the supply zones. Okay. And also 15 minutes trend is downtrend. ITF trend is 15 minutes trend. So we can further filter based on EMA confluence at 15 minute supply zone. So that is 15 minute supply zone with daily EMA confluence. We don't have any stocks. So no high probability trade setup zones in this strategy. Okay, next let us look into LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. I removed ITF EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Next 5 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. By enabling all the 3 filters, we got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, the 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone, both together again overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. But 75 minutes trend is down in only one stock. So let's verify if this stock 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. Let's verify. That is 75 minute supply zone with daily EMA. At the same time, trend on the 75 minutes should not be sideways. It should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. Let's filter. So it is filtered. That means this 5 minute supply zone might be having more high probability to get success, provide lesson 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, there are higher chances of zone violation. So this is about bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. So with this, we have completed report generation for all the income trades. Next, I will generate finding the stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. Starting with yearly time frame, price closed inside the yearly demand zone. We got 2 stocks. Next, price closed inside yearly supply zone. We don't have any stocks. Next time frame, half yearly. Stocks near half yearly demand zone, no stocks. Stocks near half yearly supply zone, also no stocks. Next, price closed inside the half yearly demand zone. We got 5 stocks. Next, price closed inside the half yearly supply zone. We got 3 stocks. Next time frame is quarterly. Stocks near to the quarterly demand zone. We got 2 stocks. Next, stocks near to the quarterly supply zone. No stocks. Price closed inside the quarterly demand zone. We got 23 stocks. First 22 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 23 stocks we got. We can further filter this list based on quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA confluence. So I'm going back, adding the filter at quarterly time frame by setting quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA confluence. At the same time, trend on the quarterly should not be sideways. EMA confluence when you set, trend should not be sideways. That's why I'm selecting only up or down trend. Let's filter. We got 13 stocks. Okay, next, price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. We got 13 stocks. We can further filter this list based on quarterly supply zone having quarterly EMA confluence. So I'm going back, adding the filter at quarterly time frame by setting quarterly supply zone with quarterly EMA confluence, and also trend on the quarterly should not be sideways. We got 3 stocks. Next time frame is monthly. Stocks near to the monthly demand zone. We got 3 stocks. Next, stocks near to the monthly supply zone. We got 5 stocks. Next, price closed inside the monthly demand zone. First 17 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 31 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on monthly demand zones having monthly EMA confluence. And also trend on the monthly should not be sideways. So we got 16 stocks. Okay, next, price closed inside the monthly supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. Total 27 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on monthly supply zone having monthly EMA confluence. And also trend on the monthly should not be sideways. We got 3 stocks. So this is about monthly time frame. The next time frame is weekly. Stocks near to the weekly demand zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Total 17 stocks are filtered. Next, stocks near to the weekly supply zone. We got 7 stocks. Okay, next, price closed inside the weekly demand zone. First 17 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Total 46 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on weekly demand zone having weekly EMA Confluence. And also trend on the weekly should not be sideways. Now the list is reduced. First 16 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Total 25 stocks are filtered. Okay, next, price closed inside the weekly supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 37 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence. And also trend on the weekly should not be sideways. So with these filters, we got 13 stocks. So this is about weekly time frame. Next time frame daily already generated in the beginning of the report. So the next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near to the 125 minutes demand zone. We got 16 stocks. First 15 stocks on the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 16 stocks we got. Next, stocks near to the 125 minute supply zone, we got 6 stocks. Next time frame 75 minutes already generated in the beginning of the report. So the next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near to the 25 minutes demand zone, we got 8 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 25 minute supply zone, we got 10 stocks. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near to the 15 minutes demand zone, we got 3 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 15 minute supply zone, we got 5 stocks. Next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near to the 5 minutes demand zone, we got 3 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 5 minute supply zone, we got 14 stocks. So we have generated all the reports for different time frames, and final report is generating the stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in this list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. So I'm scrolling the list down. Whichever the stock you want to refer, there pause the video. After that you can proceed further. Okay, I'm scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let us all meet again in our next video. Thank you.